Hello, hello, it's Kat from the Fire Tuna Club. It's time for another doll repaint. Just gonna let you guys know in advance. This is why I stress, even if it sucks in the middle of the project, sometimes at the beginning, you really should finish it anyway. This doll is a prime example of everything going wrong and still coming out right. So, let's get started. Keep in mind, if you want to make a doll similar to mine, any base will work. I chose Dracula because I had many of her. Don't worry, YouTube, I'm going into the adult things right now. With an X-Acto knife and a pencil, you'll want to mark out where you're going to be cutting, and then you'll want to carefully, in one smooth, slow stroke, so you don't get any bad jaggedy bits, chop off her face. If you're watching this video, you should already know who I'm making. It's in the title. If you're not familiar with the character, she doesn't have ears, and if she does, nobody ever gets to see them. So I'm gonna chop off Dracula's ears. She's not using them anyway. I think I have this Halloween thing down pat. Dismembered bodies, yeah. Don't tell anybody the doll customizers do this every day, not just during October. For the next step of this doll custom, I go ahead and get a push pin and add some extra holes into her head so that when I eventually reroot her, she has a nice full mane of hair. Using my homemade rerooting tool and separated strands of yarn, I go ahead and reroot the hair in the area that I marked off, as I will not be covering the whole scalp. Well, with the head open like this, it's actually really easy to glue the hair in place and set it aside to dry. We'll get to styling the hair later. Time for the fun part. So, following tips that Bozena from Doll's Brand New Look has done on previous dolls, I used tin foil to protect the neck peg area before I went and filled the head with epoxy clay. Some of you may already see where this is going, but I'm going to show you the body prepping I did for my mods anyway. Having sliced and diced the doll off camera, I put a way too heavy wire in as the new support for the doll that I could build on top of. I covered it in hot glue and then covered it in air dry clay to reshape the body. While I was waiting for the clay to dry, I made some Polymer Clay eyes, used pastel chalk and gave them a nice black base. Wasn't thinking that through. You'll see what I'm talking about in the future. Join those two eyes with the support of a toothpick and then shove them in the tin foil extension for the face. I'm not making a Terminator doll, so I'm going to go ahead and get my Apoxie Sculpt. You're going to want to grab equal parts A and B that are these two colors. Mix them together until you get a color that looks like this, and then you're going to want to sculpt all over all your tin foil. Once I'm done sculpting the hands, feet, and head, I sand down all the lumpy blended areas to smooth them down and try to get the transition from doll to epoxy as smooth as possible. Well, with all the mods done, it's time to paint the doll. So where did I go wrong, you might ask? It seems like everything's going alright, for the moment. But this was a gift for a friend who loves Adventure Time, and I was trying really hard to get it to her for her birthday. With all the setbacks that happened, I'm not going to go over them, you can see them up there on the screen. I was starting to doubt I would ever finish this until I decided that I needed to let go of having an articulated doll. A figure would be just as well received of an Adventure Time character as would an articulated doll. So, at some point when you're having trouble with a project, you just have to ask yourself, are you willing to compromise and try something different, or do you have to have it your way, the way you envisioned it, no other way at all? Or will you accept that sometimes the ideal doesn't go the way you planned, and about 95% of the time, it'll be all the better for this little hiccup? Please tell me I'm not the only one crashing and burning hardcore like this out there. Share your crafting woes with me in the comment section below, please. I have to know I'm not the only one. In the interest of time, if you want me to cover something more in detail on the steps that are coming up, leave a comment below. I'll make another break apart video going over the steps I took to make this doll. I won't make the same thing, but I usually do try to, if not do the same technique, perfect it and make it better the second time around. Don't forget, If you want to see more about this stuff, comment below. Otherwise, I will move on to the next project. With Ace of Clay playing in the background on repeat for inspiration and support, I made Jake for Lady Rainicorn so that my figure was not quite so lonely on her rolling hills. With a tinfoil body, wire armatures for his noodly arms and legs, I went about sculpting him, and I'm not gonna lie, for most of the project he looked like a bean. Like a really, really messed up bean. It was very disheartening, but I powered through it, struggled with painting, and actually managed to put together a pretty darn good looking Jake for my first try. Here's proof of my fantastic skills at mixing paint. It only took 3 tries to get the right shade for Jake, and I'm not even sure I did. The stand I made for my figure to sit on was made out of, okay, let me try to keep this short and sweet. A $1 wooden frame from Walmart, tin foil, hot glue, expanding super glue, bad decisions, wood putty, air dry clay, paint, whatever this stuff is, glitter, because the glitter was in the whatever that stuff is, glue, more bad decisions, some metal, some more expanding super glue, and lots of regret. I can't really offer you any more proof that even if something isn't going good, you should finish it anyway, as a great way to learn something. This doll right here was a big old insert curse words of your choice if you'd like. Yeah, a hot mess. This doll was a hot mess from beginning to end, and yet at the end I went, wow, I made this, go me. And then I gave it away as a gift and it was very well received. So yeah, double win. I know this is less of a tutorial, more of a watch me screw up the entire way, but I hope you learned something. You know the drill. If you like what you saw and you want to see more, don't forget to like the video, leave a comment, or subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys next time when I finish another project.